but I think that I would just say that's a very promising theory.
So guys, first of all, thank you so much for having me, and congratulations on Dune Prophecy. I'm a big fan of everything about Dune. So when the series was announced, I was like, yay! So congratulations. And my first question is for you, Alison. Were you approached by Denis Villeneuve, or did you go after him to create similarities between the movies and the series, or did you come from, let's make something completely original?
Well, this is HBO, but we are working with Legendary, and in that sense, like, there are people at Legendary who are very interested in the series that we're creating, sort of lining up to Denis' universe, and so we very much wanted to. Well, look, we loved the movies, like, you know, many people around the world, but I also think what was so inspiring about it was the tone Denis unlocked for Dune, where it felt like very grounded, very lived in, incredibly beautiful, you know, elegant, and you know, we felt like, okay, we want to offer a viewing experience that also feels grounded, where you feel like, but at parts of the Imperium no one has ever seen before.
Yeah.
So what was really fun was sort of thinking about that aesthetic and thinking about that groundedness of, and then trying to look at the planet like Lankavale, or take a look at the Sisterhood's homeworld on Wallach 9, and I don't know, just feel like you could imagine a universe, even though this was 10,000 years before, that the story would speak to each other. So it wasn't so much working directly with Denis as it was, you know, making sure that the mythology of our show and the films and that things would sync up okay, and that, you know, that we would have our place and our corner of the Imperium.
One of the things that I like most about the series is that it works alone. You don't have to previously know the movies or the books to understand the mythology. And speaking of which, I think the cast is simply amazing.
Oh,
Every
I
time
agree.
someone was announced, I was like, I'm there. I see it every single week. And Jade, the last episode, we had a breakthrough for Sister Theodosia. And I was wondering, what can we expect from the last 2 episodes? And I wanted to know if you're familiar with the universe from Dune, because I have a specific question for you.
Yes, well, when we had our first conversation, myself and Alison, about Theodosia and who she is and, you know, what would be revealed further down the line, it was very exciting, and it took me on a deep dive into the Dune world as to, you know, who she might be and where she might have come from. So that is definitely something that was interesting for me and exciting, and something that I hope that we get more of.
Okay, so there's a theory that maybe Theodosia may predict the face dancers from the universe.
Is this your theory?
I didn't say that. And I wanted to know if you can say something about it, or just wait for the next episodes, or wait for the next season.
And what I would say is we can clearly see from the end of 4 that she is a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the actual, you know, term of a face dancer, and Alison will be able to explain more about like that actually doesn't exist. Is that right?
Well, just not widely used at this time, but I think that I would just say that's a very promising theory, and yes, that Theo is a shapeshifter, and she is a, you know, I think we're going to discover more about where does that power come from in the last 2 episodes, and then also, you know, why it's important, that what role Theo has to play in our story. But yes, I mean, she is, I would say, in a line, in a lineage, you know, yes, related to face dancers.
Okay. Maybe that was my theory. I don't know, maybe. And Alison, my next question is for you. I wanted to know, would you like to expand even more Dune universe? Maybe another series focused on something that we haven't seen yet, or maybe a spin-off focused on one of the characters?
Oh, well, I like the way you think, but I really want to keep going. I mean, in a perfect world, I would love to keep going with this series for a little while because I think we have so much story to tell. I mean, I love these characters. I love the world we've created. But to really do justice to the story of how the sisterhood goes from being this institution called the sisterhood to being the Bene Gesserit that we later see in the films, there's more story. So, that's my first priority would be to get that chance. But I will say, as a fan of Dune, and I always have been, it is such a huge universe, and it has such a big canon, and it really has, 30,000 years of lore. And so for any creator, I think that there's more corners and more time periods and more conflicts and more story. So I hope people are just beginning their love of Dune and want to see a lot more for a long time.
I'm continuing, and I'm anxious, so I needed to ask that.
I like the way you think.
And Jade, I think I have time for one last question, is for you. I wanted to know, in the next 2 episodes, without much spoiler, how does the relationship between Theo and Velia evolve or devolve?
That's a very good. I mean, what we see is, as Alison just said, how kind of important Theo is to Velia and to what she's doing. And so her kind of importance, and we've found out some more about what she can do and how that comes into play in the next 2 episodes, for sure.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for having me. It was a joy talking to you.
Thank you for watching.